Hey family, how you doing? Welcome again to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us here. I know this was not usually when I'm getting ready to go live. I let people know, in our on our community page that I'm going to go live. And today, this one's going to be a very short one because we are in the middle of preparing for a very, very big event. We'll be letting you know that just a moment here. Let me do something to my camera right quick here. Hold on for just a second. All right, we're back here. Sorry about that. So this is going to be real quick here. So glad that you guys can join us again. For those that are coming in the chat, and for those that will be here in a few minutes, well, welcome. So glad that you guys can join us. I was going to make this into just a regular recording and upload it, but I said, let me just jump on live real quick here, and then we'll just go ahead and talk about this real quick because I think this will be an interesting one. What's the big event that we're preparing for? The big event is, again, we've been telling people, check your email. If you are signed up on our website, sambatree.com, and that's SAMBA tree.com. That is our online wellness health store that we have, and we've had it for some time now. And we are about to launch our, she wrote it down, Samba Super Sale season. And we have quite a few brand new products that we're going to be introducing. So we're very excited about that. So we've been very busy and getting the final preparations done for that. So please continue to check your email. Just give it about a next, day or two, and we'll have the emails out, and maybe we'll go live a little bit, make it a little bit fun or whatever. But yeah, this is going to be one of our biggest sales of the year. And you definitely don't want to miss it. But it's not just a sale, but we're also going to be introducing some very, very some new products. And we're stretching ourselves a little bit because some of the things we're going to be offering, I told you, little by little, we're taking over. We're putting our foot down, and we're saying we got to stop depending on this system to provide us with some of these things. And we can start creating these things on our own. So, what better way to lead by example? There's other people, of course, that are doing what we're doing. We're not sitting up here acting like we're the only ones, but we're just echoing it, if you will, the message that, yes, as a people, we can create things on our own. We can bring healing to ourselves. Our Creator has put a bunch of wonderful things out here all throughout nature that we don't even need to go to the doctors. We don't need to go to the hospitals at all. So, and then the same thing goes with our, beauty products, all that stuff. We work specifically with a lab, we're able to tell these people what to put in, what not to put in. We're expanding our reach a little bit here and looking at other sources for other things as well. That's why it's so important to build relationships. So just the other day, it was funny. My wife and I went to a nursery nearby. Beautiful nursery, plant nursery. And just so it was older white gentleman that was walking by, and he just started talking and just sharing all this kind of stuff and dropping knowledge about different plants and stuff like that. And it happened to be the owner. And he was like, yeah, anytime, come back. I'll let you know, you tell me what if you have a question on anything, let me know. Please let me know. I went to school for this or whatever. Very, very, and I said, yeah, I'm going to use that resource. So, but yeah, it's just the answers are out there. I had somebody in our comments, not just very recently, says that I'm tired of people always talking about our problems, and this always comes up. Many of you have heard this many times when you do a video or something like that, and you're pointing out the things that we're not doing correctly. What we do is we don't just point at the problems. We also point at some practical solutions. We always do that. But, you got people with very short attention spans and don't want to listen to the whole matter. So they just stick around to the part to where they get offended. Then they want to jet out. But before they jet out, they can put something in the chat complaining about how people are always talking about the problems and not providing solutions. And when I told this gentleman, I said, listen, the solutions have been out there. And I said, it starts within the context of what we were talking about. I was talking about the importance of getting, many of our people need professional help, for example, right? And we really, many of our people need that. You desperately need to get some professional help. And because a lot of our people, the trauma of just life and everything that many of our people have gone through, it's something that you need to check out. If you find yourself in a never ending loop or never ending cycle of, just failure, it's nothing wrong with getting some professional help. And this guy responded, well, why would I go to somebody? Why would I use their system and use their doctors and all that stuff? I said, who said anything about using their system or their doctors? Going and talking to your pastor and ain't worked too much, did it? You got pastors out here that put a PhD in front of their name or put a DR in front of their name or put Rev or Bishop in front of their name, and they want to pretend that they are licensed in these areas, and they're not. And a lot of times, more often than not, they usually end up making the problems worse. But there are people out there. Yes, there are people that look like you, that are out here that are professional and have been doing this stuff for years, and they can help you to get out of this death cycle or this cycle of ignorance that many of our people find themselves in. I'm not saying that's the answer for everybody, but there are answers out there, and that's just dealing with mental health, right? And then when it comes to our general health and the things we put in our bodies, the things we put on our bodies, there are solutions out here as well. And so either you're going to, but the problem that we encounter, I had another person email me, basically wanting me to get, tell him, where's this journey going to? One day I'll do a video. I may talk more about that email. Where's this journey going to? Where are we going? Because I don't have time to watch any of your videos. I just look at the titles. Okay, so I responded to him. I said, well, the first question is, where is your journey going? Because I'm not in a position to tell you where you're going. Okay, no, we're not doing that. Where is your journey going? Number one. Number two, where is the journey of your family going to? You should be very concerned and want to make sure that wherever it is that you're standing on facts. You're standing on things that you can, that are factual. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not guesses, not assumptions, but things that are factual. But if you're, so that's really the first thing. It begins there. And most importantly, you're standing on truth. That's really what you want to make sure you're standing on is truth. Your foundation must be laced and infused with truth. And that's what we're about here. Now, if you don't have the time, now you're talking about over 400 plus years that our people have been lied to. If you think for one moment the answer of all of these confusing things that have been put on us can be unraveled in a TikTok or a Twitter or a YouTube video, you're crazy. But sadly, a lot of people will not take the time to realize that, and they want you just to give them a 2-second cliff note on what they should do next. I'm not your slave master. I'm not your pastor. I'm not any of that. Many of our people are grown adults, and it's, you're going to have to invest in where you're going. It's not for me to tell you where you should go. It's for me. What we do on this platform is basically us unraveling some of the things that have been told to us that are just lies. And we're trying to get to the truth of the matter of many of these things. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of this will take a lifetime because these people don't lie to us so much. But bottom line is this, is that the answers that many of you are really looking for out here, they're already out here. They're out here, and they're not as hard to find as you may think them to be. Okay. You just have to commit in yourself that you are going to take the initiative and look for them. You should not depend on someone like me to find them for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or anybody on YouTube or a church or ministry or whatever like that. No, if you are not leading the team, if you will, in your own household of research and finding out the truth of these things, then you are already being led by somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we try to instill in people that come to our platform. We want our people to, have the desire, if you will, to want to invest the time and to get to the truth of the matter, because we have been drowning in raw, unadulterated ignorance on a lot of things. And we want to do our part in unraveling that. But again, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate it. And yeah, we also have that. I haven't forgotten about the series on the Holy Spirit. We're going to continue that. I believe that will be this weekend. I believe I'll do that this weekend. I've been really kind of dragging a little bit because I want to make sure that people are, watch part 1 and then part 2. That's not something, these are, when we do these teachings, it's not something you can just quickly go through. You may need to go through it several times, because what happens is you'll skip over stuff and you just skipping and double tapping and trying to get to the end and all of that. No, you need to hear all of that. And then once you hear it, you need to take that information and then you need to cross reference it, check it yourself, and see if what's being presented is true or not. You understand what I'm saying? That's how you get through these things. And so we want to make, so we're not in the business here, so to speak, of just pushing out things, because we're trying to get numbers up and all this other stuff and trying to outdo somebody else. No, we want to make sure that it's really settling in and people are getting it and they're understanding what is being presented to them at the end of the day, so that's kind of what we do here. But anyway, yes. So one more time, check your emails. If you are on the Saba Tree email list, we have a very, very huge sale that's coming up. We're going to be introducing quite a few brand new products. We're very, very excited about. And these are things, like I said, everything we sell on sabatree.com, we test ourselves. And if it's passed the test in this house, then, and we like it, then we know everybody else out here that we're selling it to will also like it as well, and you will enjoy it. So that formula has worked for us, and we're going to stick to it. So again, we appreciate that. Also, I want to give a big shout out for those that did come through for the, we put the call out for, BondTube, mybondtube.com. And yeah, because, I told you it got shut down for a minute because there was no payment and there's no money in that account, which means, if you want it to continue to stay up, then we just say, hey, listen, people, we're going to need you to step up, And so, and quite a few of you did, and we really appreciate that. So we're good right now until, let me see, we got a couple of months. I've already paid them up with everything that was in that account. I pretty much sent everything to them. So for about a couple of months now, I think we're pretty good. Just wanted to let you know, but it's an ongoing project. And so if it's something that you have, you really appreciate it, it's something that's been a help for you, do consider making it a regular contribution to it. Again, 100% goes straight to there. I could very easily set that up to be a for-profit thing where I'm making money off the side of it, but I refused. I disabled all those features so that nobody's making any money off of it. I want it to be something that's there so that people can get the information that they need, and that's it. Nothing extra and all that. Not that there's anything bad to that per se, but I just want to make sure the model starts with helping people, for that particular project. So again, we really appreciate each and every one of you for that. I had one individual message me and said they did give something, and they said, well, hey, where's the thank you with that? I'm gonna be honest with you. My first thought, honestly, was to give them their money back. I'm being very serious, because we always try to, for people who do contribute, we always, use YouTube like this to let people know, hey, listen, thank y'all. We really appreciate that. And we do. And, between that and the emails, the amount of emails and my personal time, I don't necessarily have the time to be going to each and every email and responding back, to individual emails. I don't have that time. And we tell people, if I don't respond to you in the time frame that you want me to respond in, don't take that personal. It's just that, we're doing quite a few things here. So, yeah, so don't take that offensive. Don't be offended at that at all. If I don't respond back to you and say thank you, because if you're giving by way of, let's say, Cash App or even PayPal for that matter, there's really no way that's provided for me to email you back and say thank you. I don't have the, it doesn't give me the ability to do that. Now with Cash App, I can click on a little heart or something like that, and it'll, I could do that, but as far as like sending a message, I don't know, because many of you don't even use your real name when you're here on social media, so when you do give, I don't know, I can't place name with YouTube name, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know who I'm talking to a lot of times, but again, like I said, again, I appreciate each and every one of you who came through for that. And hopefully that will be something that will stay up and running for a very, very long time. Okay. All right. So again, thank y'all so much. Really appreciate that. Busy week. It's a busy week out there. I was out there. I was like, man, what is going on? Then I realized, oh, it's Thanksgiving week. So a lot of people out there. I'm sure many of you have seen this too. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm going to Costco, man. They about to run folks over, So whatever your plans are for this week, I know many of you will have the day off or whatever. Just make it a good and relaxing one. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. For some of y'all, don't be out here bashing folks who do choose to do something on that day. All right. Don't waste the time. Ain't gonna be no videos on this platform where we're out here telling people, well, I'm gonna give you the true secrets of Thanksgiving and how evil when Thanksgiving happens to fall on the day of the ancient Greek such and such. See, people all of a sudden, they want to do the deep research when it comes to holidays. Isn't it funny? But when I say, okay, let's do the deep research when it comes to the Bible, now all of a sudden you can't do that. That's blasphemous. You can't do that. But doggone it, we're going to do the deep research on Thanksgiving, and we're going to do it. Oh, okay, fine. For the do you. So if you want to stay home, stay home. You want to go out, go out. You want to eat. If you don't want to eat, then sleep. Watch TV. I don't care. Nobody cares here. Okay. So you do you, be happy. That's the goal. Be whatever you do, just be happy, be content, and keep it legal. Okay. Okay. Keep it legal. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to show you this video here that I came across for some time. You remember during the CV wars, I'm talking about the jab wars. This platform that I'm about to talk about, I'm looking at some of the comments here. This platform I'm about to talk about, they were putting out some pretty good information when it came to the, right? And we've actually highlighted some of their stuff, and there was very bold stuff that they were putting out when it comes to that whole ordeal, right? But I also was very careful when I would listen to these individuals that were talking about that, I can't really get into it on this platform. I was also very aware of the fact that a lot of these people were on the right, and I would even argue that a lot of them were even on the ultra right for that matter. So I knew at some point that was going to, the true colors of these individuals were going to show, like individuals like Stu Peters. Some of y'all may be familiar with Stu Peters. And man, I tell you, if you ever follow or listen or watch the stuff he posts on Twitter, for example, this man is extremely racist. I mean, the things that he says about black people. Now, he was very anti the shot, very, very anti the shot, and was bringing out some pretty good information. But at the same time, later on, and there was some incidents that came up, and he's really into the whole we got to save white people and all, he's really into all of that. And so anyway, which you do you, but when you're getting racist and you're reposting things that are very racist in nature, I do have serious problems with that. we're also going to get in and talk about this whole thing with Candace Owens, because you got to understand these people are playing 4D chess, and I want to do a breakdown on that so you can really understand what's really, really going on that. So we'll do that another time. But I want to talk about True News. That's the platform, True News. The founder of that is Rick Wiles. I believe he's in Florida. He's in the state of Florida. And he recently posted this. This is a clip, on his, they do broadcasts. I think it's like daily broadcasts that they do. They were kicked off of YouTube, I think, and a lot of the major platforms, but they're still on some platforms. But but recently he posted this video, this clip of a broadcast that he did recently. And I want you to take a listen to it. And then I'm going to put out an invite. for Mr. Rick Wiles, if he would choose to, and the door is open, if he would like to contact me, and I would be more than happy in a very calm and very respectful way to really delve into this topic, not talk over him, and not talk down on him at all. But, he's really missing some things on this. And I look at when things like this pop up, I always look at it as an opportunity, hey, let's use this as an opportunity, because there are people out there that just don't know. They don't know. And they can be very ignorant of factual history. So let me go ahead and pull this video up here, and we're going to take a listen to what Mr. Rick Wiles said in this clip here. Okay, so let's get this up here. I promised my wife I was going to get something done here, so I can't be on here I can't be on here too long. Hold on, let me get this. Okay, here it is. I was trying to hurry up. I wasn't even going to go live, and then I said, you know what? I got a little bit of time. Let me see if I can squeeze this in here. All right, so let's take a listen here to what Mr. Rick Wiles said in a very recent broadcast here. Let me make sure my audio's on point here. All right, and here we go.
But this is where we're at right now, and the end of 2023. We're in the next phase of the communist takeover of America. And where this is going, folks, is eventually we will reach the point of land confiscation. They will pass a slavery reparation law, and the government will say, Washington doesn't have the money for this, and Washington didn't do this to the black people. The white people did it. We are going to have to nationalize land owned by white people.
Don't think they can't do it.
I'm
Other
telling
nations
you, my
have
friends,
done it.
I'm telling you, this is the plan. They're going to pass a national reparation law that requires the confiscation of land owned by white people as just compensation for slavery.
And the whitest of the white are MAGA followers.
Trump, white Christians who voted for Trump. They will be the very first ones to lose their homes, their farms, their ranches, their businesses.
I'm going to play it again.
Right now,
Let's play it again.
At the end of 2023, we're in the next phase of the communist takeover of America. And where this is going, folks, is eventually we will reach the point of land confiscation. They will pass a slavery reparation law, and the government will say, Washington doesn't have the money for this, and Washington didn't do this to the black people. The white people did it. We are going to have to nationalize land owned by white people.
Don't think they can't do it.
I'm telling you, my
have done
friends,
it.
I'm telling you, this is the plan. They're going to pass a national reparation law that requires the confiscation of land owned by white people as just compensation for slavery.
And the whitest of the white are MAGA followers.
Trump, white Christians who voted for Trump. They will be the very first ones to lose their homes, their farms, their ranches, their businesses.
Now, this dude, okay, so you heard what he said, and I played it twice because I want to make sure people, heard it, what he's saying, and that's it. Number one, he's doing a lot of fear mongering, of course, because that's based off of what? What precedent, I would ask you, Mr. Wiles, what precedent can you point to in American history where land that was owned by whites was forcibly taken away from them and given to black people? I would really like to see the historical precedent where that ever happened in this country. But what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to make this extremely simple. And so, because I want to get right to the point with this video, because like I said, again, I got to get off so I can do whatever, all the things I got to do for the rest of this evening. Okay. But I want to make this very simple. And like I said, again, Mr. Rick Wiles, you are more than I make myself available. If you would like to have me on and to have a dialogue, I would love to do that on this topic, or you can come here. Doesn't matter to me at all. But if you're going to have a discussion on reparations, my advice to you is to make sure that you're speaking from a place of true news, not false news, not fake news, but true news. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to go, like I said, again, we're going to make this very simple and anybody can follow along. All right. I could very easily pull up book after book after book after book after book after book on these topics. Right. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to take a trip right to Wikipedia. Okay. And there's actually 2 pages in Wikipedia that we're going to look at this evening. And anybody can look at this. Okay. And so just to give you some idea. All right. But before I do that, I will say this too. You know, my thoughts on slavery, my thoughts on reparations. I've said this before, and I'll say it again and again and again and again. Our Black people, based on what has happened to us, based on how we were used to make this country what it is today in terms economically, do I believe that Black people are owed payment for that? Absolutely, 100%. When it comes, so yeah, in reparations, absolutely, I'm 100% for the just argument for that. I don't even think it's really an argument. I mean, if you make someone, you know, if you have someone work for you, you should pay them. That's how most economies work. You know, someone working for you, you typically pay them. But if you ain't paying, chances are they're probably a slave. Okay, chances are, and it just so happens we were, right? So absolutely, I do believe that this country does owe us. Okay, now I want people who are listening, I want to make sure that you're following me all the way along. Okay, now, do I believe that by getting the quote unquote right person in office, that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not believe that. The United States, like all other countries, but specifically the United States, has given us the blueprint on if you want something, how do you get it? You take it. You don't beg for it. You don't cry for it. You don't march for it. You don't certainly protest for it. You take it. So what did the United States do? The United States built an army. They built a military. In fact, they built what would be considered the best military in the world. Why did they do that? So that anything in this world that they wanted, they can just send their military over there and take it. Plain and simple. They didn't go to Africa and say, please, y'all, can y'all please let us have your gold? Or please, and I'm saying United States, but Europe and all these other countries fall into this as well. They didn't go to any of these places when they came, when Europeans first came over here, when they spoke to the natives here, did they say, please, can we have some of your land? Just a little bit. We want to do, Thanksgiving is coming up and, we want to make sure that we can all sit down at the table of brotherhood and we can sit down and we can talk things over and, and maybe you can allow us to have some of your land and all that. No, that's not how it went down. The United States consistently has demonstrated that if you want something, you take it. And you use your military to do it by any means necessary, period. That's how the United States, they set the tone for how you get what you believe is owed to you. All right. Now, as Black folks, we get this idea that anything less than that is going to work. It's not going to work. I'm just trying to, and I don't even hate to tell you, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. It isn't. That doesn't erase the justified argument for reparations. I'm just telling you the path that you're going ain't the path to go. It isn't. It just isn't. Okay. And it's not going to work. Period. Not getting the right person in office, not saying, I'm not going to vote at all. It doesn't matter. And as I've said before, and I'll say it a million more times, what planet is your brain imported from? Where you actually believe that your oppressor will give you the authority and the power to elect who their next leader is going to be. I'm going to let you kind of bake on that a little bit. Because, life I know comes at us very, very fast. And a lot of times our people don't take the time to put on the brakes and slow down and process things for a little bit. Let me start that off again. What planet did your brain get imported from where it has you believing that you being part of this oppressed group brought in via slavery, and then Jim Crow and all that stuff, that somehow they are going to turn around and say, you know what? We're going to give you the authority to pick our next leader. Yeah. You need to think on that for a moment. Okay. So whether if you vote or not, I think it's already said and done at the end of the day. That's my personal belief. What you believe, that's on you. But those are the facts. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just what it is. So with that being said, when it comes to that, I personally do not believe that this country in its present state is going to give you anything. And if they do give you something, it's going to be something where they are going to get the biggest benefit out of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You think this country is going to hand over the majority? I don't know how this fly just came in here. I ain't hardly seen no flies the whole time I've been out here. And all of a sudden I got one. Anyway. And so anyway, they may have sent that over here. I don't know. But anyway, so this country ain't giving you nothing. Let me just put it that way. Okay. Let me just cut to the chase. It just isn't. The argument is just. The argument is right. So don't come to me and say, you just anti this. I'm anti stupidity. So what I would say to our people, if you are trying to get reparations, then my advice to you is to stop investing in museums, stop investing in documentaries, stop investing in t-shirts, stop investing in protests, and begin to start investing your dollars into a real military. If you're trying to get your money back, right? If that's the route you're saying, you're making that claim, you need to start doing that, because all this other stuff that a lot of people are doing, you're being silly, and you're being led by people who know they're being silly, but they know they taking advantage of your silliness. So they have you doing this. I'm going to do a documentary that's going to tear this stuff down. It's going to expose this. And all I need is $50,000 from you and I can release it. You know, I got some shirts that's going to say, we want reparations right now. And, you know, and I just need you. How much is a shirt? $50 a shirt. Okay. Well, we're going to do a march, and we're going to do a reparations march. And you think that ain't moving nothing? So again, learn from your captors. When they want something, they get their military and they go get it. I don't see no military out here. Not for black folks. I see black folks in their military, but I don't see black folks out here assembling in the military and say, okay, we're gonna plan and plot and we're gonna get our money back. It ain't happening, and it ain't gonna happen. Because the moment we get our hands, the ones that many of these knuckleheads who do get their hands on some of this stuff, they turn the guns on each other. So no, it's not happening. Okay. You can hate me. You can hate what I'm saying, but it's true at the end of the day. Somebody has to tell the truth. Now, are there things that we can do as a people to live a happy, healthy life that's out of the matrix system where you're not, subjected to all of that? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are numbers of things you can do. You don't have to live out there, well, I can't do nothing if they don't give me my reparation. No, there's a whole lot of things you can do. A whole lot of things you can do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, no, I'm just starting off this conversation saying, so no, I do not believe at all this government is going to give anything. So you're not going to see me wasting my time or my breath screaming and hollering, talking about this. And then, like I said, you got some people who try to bring in the Bible with it and say, like I did, okay, like I did as well, saying, yeah, because the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, and, the Most High, he going to turn this thing around and he going to make them give us our stuff back. Where is the precedent where that's ever happened? In history, not claims, history. Like I would challenge my people right now. They say, well, in the Bible, it says that Pharaoh had to give all it. That's a pretty major claim that would have been documented. So my question to you is, what non-biblical source can you point to where that actually happened? See, this is the kind of things that we're looking at, and we're questioning Everything these people gave to us, every lie, every story, every book, we're going to look at all of it. And what's true is going to stand, and what's false, it ain't. It's just what it is. So we keep kicking the can of hope over and over again, where we just hoping and wait. Well, one day the sky's going to crack and it's going to take us all up. They've been saying that in the 1800s. They were saying that been saying that. I don't want to get into a tangent on that, but y'all know where I am on that. But anyway, so with all of that being said, let me say this. So yeah, so I'm just wanting to be very clear where I am with this whole idea of reparations, right? Now, with that being said, like I said, it doesn't erase the argument. The argument is still a just one. It's still a fair argument. It's still a fair argument. It does not take away from the actual claim. It doesn't erase that. So I'm not saying that reparations is a false, baseless argument. It's not. It's a very true one. I'm just saying that it's not going to work in this matrix. That's all I'm trying to say. But anyway, for Mr. Rick Wiles here, who believes that somehow that this government, who ain't give us jack, you know what, is somehow going to flip the tables and say, okay, all these white people, we're going to snatch your land and we're going to give it to black people. Okay, Mr. Rick Wiles, I would like to take you to Wikipedia. This is something very simple anybody can do, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. All right, so real quick here. Many of you heard of Rosewood. Now, Mr. Rick Wiles, Rosewood was actually a town in Florida in your home state. And I'm just going to read some of this to you. There's actually a movie called Rosewood. It's by Melvin Van Peebles. And I would encourage you to check that movie out because it actually tells the story of a town in Florida in your home state where land that once was owned by black people was taken away from them. Okay, true. This true news, right? So let me give you some true news on this, okay? We're not going to read the whole thing. I would just encourage you to take the time and read it yourself. We'll just read a little bit of it, okay? All right, so it says the Rosewood Massacre was a racially motivated massacre of black people and the destruction of a black town that took place during the first week of January 1923 in rural Levy County, Florida, United States. At least 6 black people were killed, but eyewitness accounts suggested a higher death toll of 27 to 150. In addition, 2 white people were killed in self-defense by one of the victims. The town of Rosewood was destroyed in what contemporary news reports characterized as a race riot. Florida had an especially high number of lynchings of black men in the years before the massacre, including the lynching of Charles Strong and the Perry Massacre. We can spend a whole several hours talking about the different towns that were in Florida. In Florida, Rosewood, as you can see here, it's further up, the coast here in Florida. But we can talk about there were towns down here in Florida as well. You can see my mouse where you had the what was it? It'll come to me, and it'll come to me. These were Africans that were slaves that escaped out of some of the Caribbean islands, and they actually built towns down here in this part of Florida. Yes, and all that got scooped up. But anyway, we'll talk about that another day. But we actually did talk about it. Okay, so let's go on. I'm trying to get to the heart of it. Okay. All right. This will actually kind of get a little bit more to, because I just want to get to the heart of it. All right. Fannie Taylor's story. The Rosewood Massacre occurred after a white woman in Sumner claimed that she had been assaulted by a black man. How many times have we heard that story before, right? Frances Fannie Taylor was a 22-year-old in 1923 and married to James, a 30-year-old millwright employed by Comer and Sons in Sumner. They lived there with their 2 young children. James's job required him to leave each day during the darkness of every morning. Neighbors remembered Fannie Taylor as very peculiar. She was meticulously clean, scrubbing her cedar floors with bleach so that they shone white. Other women attested that Taylor was aloof. No one knew her very well. All right. On January the 1st, 1923, the Taylor's neighbor reported that she heard a scream while it was still dark, grabbed her revolver and ran next door to find Fanny bruised and beaten with scuff marks across the white floor. Taylor was screaming that someone needed to get her baby. She said a black man was in her house. He had come through the back door and assaulted her. The neighbor found the baby, but no one else. Taylor's initial report stated that her assailant beat her and was about the face, but did not rape her. Rumors circulated widely, believed by whites in Sumner, that she was both raped and robbed. The charge of rape of a white woman by a black man was inflammatory in the South. Okay, we already know this, and let's see. I'll just continue to read. The charge of rape was inflammatory in the South. And the day before, the Klan had a parade and rally of over 100 hooded Klansmen 50 miles away in Gainesville under a burning cross and a banner reading, "First and always protect womanhood." Ain't that something there? Protect womanhood. So all my white feminists out there, you want to know where your feminist movement, what it was partly rooted in? Yeah, the Klan had a banner that said "First and always protect womanhood." Anyway, the neighbor also reported the absence that day of Taylor's laundress, Sarah Carrier, whom the white woman in Sumner called Aunt Sarah. Philomena Goins, Carrier's granddaughter, told a different story about Fanny Taylor many years later. She joined her grandmother, Carrie, at Taylor's home at as usual that morning. They watched a white man leave by the back door later that morning before noon. She said Taylor did emerge from the home showing evidence of having been beaten, but it was well after morning. Carrie's grandson and Philomena's brother, Arnett Goins, sometimes went with them. He had seen the white man before. Carrier told others in the black community that she had been where she had been that day. The black community of Rosewood believed that Fanny Taylor had a white lover. They got into a fight that day and he beat her. When the man left Taylor's house, he went to Rosewood. Of course he did. Quickly, Levy County Sheriff Robert Elias Walker raised a posse and started an investigation. When they learned that Jesse Hunter, a black prisoner, had escaped from a chain gang, they began to search to question him about Taylor's attack. Men arrived from Cedar Key, Otter Creek, Chiefland, and Bronson to help with the search. Adding confusion to the events, recounted later that as many as 400 white men began to gather. Sheriff Walker deputized some of them, but was unable to initiate them all. Walker had asked for dogs from a nearby convict camp, but one dog may have been used by a group of men acting without Walker's authority. Dogs led a group of about 100 to 150 men to the home of Aaron Carrier, Sarah's nephew. Aaron was taken outside, where his mother begged that the men not to kill him. He was tied to a car and dragged to Sumner. Sheriff Walker put Carrier in protective custody at the county seat in Bronson to remove him from the men in the posse, many of whom were drinking and acting by their own authority. And then it goes on. Okay, because they went ahead and lynched. I think they ended up lynching him. Then this thing escalates, and it talks about it goes on, it talks about all the things that went down, right? Now, let's get to this section here of Raising Rosewood. News of the armed standoff at the Carrier house attracted white men from all over the state to take part. Now, I hope you really are paying attention, Mr. Wiles, because this is in your state. This is part of the history in your state, okay? From all over the state to take part. Reports were carried in the St. Petersburg Independent, Florida Times Union, the Miami Herald, the Miami Metropolis, in versions competing facts and overstatement. The Miami Metropolis listed 20 black people and 4 white people dead and characterized the events as a race war. National newspapers also put the incident in the front page And they described a band of heavily armed Negroes and Negro desperados being involved. Skip. Okay, you can read it all on your own. Black newspapers, they talk about how the black newspapers covered it and characterized the black folks there. Okay, so we'll get down to the white mob burned black churches in Rosewood. Philomena Goins' cousin Lee Ruth Davis heard the bells tolling in the church as the men were inside setting it on fire. The mob also destroyed the white church in Rosewood. Many black residents fled for safety in the nearby swamps, and some clothed only in their pajamas. Wilson Hall was 9 years old at the time and later recounted his mother waking him up to escape into the swamps early in the morning when it was still dark. The lights from approaching cars of white men could be seen for miles. The Hall family walked 15 miles through swampland to a town of Gulf Hammock. The survivors recalled that it was uncharacteristically cold for Florida, and people suffered when they spent several nights in the raised wooded areas called hammocks to evade the mob. Some took refuge with sympathetic white families. Sam Carter's 69-year-old widow hid for 2 days in the swamps, then was driven by a sympathetic white mail carrier under bags of mail to join her family in Chiefland. White men began surrounding houses, pouring gasoline on and lighting them, then shooting at those who emerged. Lexi Gordon, a light-skinned 50-year-old woman who was ill with typhoid fever, had sent her children into the woods. She was killed by a shotgun blast in the face when she fled from hiding underneath her home. And I'm skipping here, y'all. On January the 5th, more whites converged on the area, forming a mob between 200 and 300 people. Some came from out of the state. Mingo Williams was 20 miles away near Bronson, was collecting turpentine sap by the side of the road when a car full of whites stopped and asked his name. As was custom among many residents of Levy County, both black and white, Williams used a nickname that was more prominent than was the given name. When he gave his nickname of Lord God, they shot him dead. Okay. And then it goes on. Let me just skip down here. Mr. Rick Wiles, I really hope you're paying attention to this. I really, really do. On January the 6th, train conductors John and William Bryce managed the evacuation of some black residents to Gainesville. The brothers were independently wealthy Cedar Key residents who had an affinity for trains. They knew the people in Rosewood and they traded them regularly. As they passed the area, the Bryces slowed their train and blew the horn, picking up women and children. Fearing reprisals from mobs, they refused to pick up any black men. Many survivors boarded the trains after having been hidden by white general store owner John Wright and his wife, Mary Jo. Over the next several days, other Rosewood residents fled to the Wrights' house, facilitated by Sheriff Walker, who asked the Wrights to transport as many residents out of the town as possible. All right. And I'm going to finish this up here. Lee Ruth Davis, her sister and two brothers were hidden by the Wrights while their father hid in the woods. On the morning of Polly Wilkinson's funeral, the Wrights left their children alone to attend. Davis and her siblings crept out of the house to hide with relatives in the nearby town of Wiley. I hope I'm saying that right. But they were turned back for being too dangerous. The children spent a day in the woods but decided to return to the Wrights' house. After spotting men with guns on their way back, they crept back into the Wrights, who were frantic with fear. Davis later described the experience. I was laying in that deep water. That is where we sat all day long. We got into our bellies and crawled. We tried to keep people from seeing us through the bushes. We were trying to get back to Mr. Wright's house. After we got all the way to his house, Mr. and Mrs. Wright were all the way out of the bushes hollering and calling us. And when we answered, they were so glad. Several other white residents of Summer hid black residents of Rosewood and smuggled them out of town. Gainesville black community took in many of Rosewood's evacuees, waiting for them at the train station and greeting survivors as they disembarked, covered in sheets. On Sunday, January the 7th, a mob of 100 to 150 whites returned to burn the remaining dozen or so structures of Rosewood. So yes, Juania, exactly. This is a very tragic and sad story. But but here's my thing here. I want to go back and I'm gonna play his clip again. I'm gonna play his clip again, and then we're gonna, we're gonna, I'm gonna get to this other thing I want to read to y'all very quickly. Okay, like I said, I'm almost finished. We're gonna keep it moving here. All right, but I want y'all to hear what Mr. Wiles, if you're just coming, and others, if you're just coming in and you're listening and you're watching this video, this is the video that we're commenting off of. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this video. Take a listen to what Rick Wiles of True News had to say in regards to his fear that somehow that reparations is going to mean that white people are going to have land taken back from them. Okay, so let's take a listen to what Mr. Rick Wiles had to say.
But this is where we're at right now, and the end of 2023. We're in the next phase of the communist takeover of America. And where this is going, folks, is eventually we will reach the point of land confiscation. They will pass a slavery reparation law, and the government will say, Washington doesn't have the money for this, and Washington didn't do this to the black people. The white people did it. We are going to have to nationalize land owned by white people.
Don't think they can't do it.
I'm
Other
telling you,
nations
my
have done
friends,
it.
I'm telling you, this is the plan. They're going to pass a national reparation law that requires the confiscation of land owned by white people as just compensation for slavery.
And the whitest of the white are MAGA followers.
Trump, white Christians who voted for Trump. They will be the very first ones to lose their homes, their farms, their ranches, their businesses.
But now, here's the thing and some of y'all are chiming in very good. I mean, you just naming other examples. I know for some of you, even in your own families, you may have your own stories where land that your family owned was confiscated, was taken away from you. And this is people in our lifetime right now that have these stories like this by the very white government. And so here we have Mr. Rick Wiles. Apparently, I don't know of any record of him saying anything about that or being concerned about that. But all of a sudden now the thought of reparations, meaning that somehow your precious land is going to be taken away from you and from other white people, Trump white people. And he's being very specific, and that this reparations is something to be very afraid and scared about because your precious land is going to be taken away from you. But here's my thing. Again, this is Christianity for you. Christianity, he is the face of Christianity. Mr. Rick Wiles is. And this is what they teach. That, hey, listen, one nation under God, God bless America. This is our land. We need to fight for it or whatever. But when you bring up these stories that I'm sharing with you right now, that clock that this is our land and God bless America. Apparently that clock didn't start until later on. They were able to push that along. Black people have owned land in this country for many, 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 many decades. And slowly but surely that land has been taken from many of our family. Okay. And I'm just, again, we're speaking truth here. We're speaking facts. I'm not plotting and telling you, okay, this is why you got to get with your local congressman and all of that. I've already shared at the beginning, early on in this broadcast. That's a no-go. You can do it all you want, but they ain't going to go down that way. Mr. Rick Wiles, this is also another, you can go right to Wikipedia as well. You can go right to Wikipedia, and you can also do a search for black land loss in the United States. And the people who put this together, they do a complete breakdown, or I would say a partial breakdown of different examples where black Americans have had land taken from them. All right. And the promise of the 40 acres and a mule, that if we put our lives on the line in this civil war, that we were going to get in exchange 40 acres and a mule. So there's land that was promised to us that was never given. Apparently you forgot about that as well. So I would encourage you, that's why I'm just going right here to Wikipedia, and you can find these answers right here when it comes to, black people and land as far as that's concerned. I will also point you to this. I'll put the link here in the chat. This is a very, it's a sad story. I'll just put it that way. And I've mentioned this interview before, and I just put it in the chat. This is, I forgot who's the original producers of this interview. I'm trying to see if it was, I don't know if it was PRI. It was, it says Reveal Radio, but it was a local, I think they were out in California or something like that. But it's about an hour long. It tells the story of a black pig farmer in the Carolinas, and he is going through how, so what are you talking about? Oh, okay. he is going through his story about how his farm is systematically being taken from him. And I would encourage you, if this is a topic that is, if if you have farmers in your family, if you have or you're a landowner or anything like that, I would really encourage you to listen to this, because what this story does is that they actually look at they're talking about how at the county level and the state level, how this structure, if you will, have people in place where they manipulate the loans and stuff like that, where these farmers really need in order to get things done. And how they move money. Like, for example, you may have Obama, for example, they talk about how Obama said, okay, I'm going to sign this bill that's going to give all these black farmers money. And black people, we just celebrating and shouting from the rooftops. But see, that money's got to trickle down to the people. So what happens is that money it will get to the state level, but in the state level, you got all kinds of people, Democrats and Republicans, okay? Democrats and Republicans, and, that share their hatred towards black folks. And what they do is they talk about how money is being shifted away from black farmers and given to white farmers. And they talk about, because they had like the not the cameras, but the microphones there, and you can kind of hear all this stuff was going, because it was him and his wife who was getting very sick. They had 2 dogs, and the state came in and they made up some law, something like that. They saying, you got too many dogs here. Now this is recent stuff, and they came and had to confiscate his dogs. Farmer, they need, that's like their friends, that or their workers out there too. And so they confiscated the dogs because they're saying you got too many dogs here, so we got to take them. So the man ain't got no dogs. They say, how many guns you got up in? I mean, they just take you through literally everything. And it wasn't until it was a black man that actually came on the state level that actually he took some interest in this. And fortunately, he showed some compassion, because like I told you, just because they look like you a lot of times don't mean they're your friends. But it just so happens this brother, he was a true brother and really did all he could to kind of help and protect this man, because he saw clearly what was going on here. But yeah, so this stuff is going on literally all the time. And, land is still being lost by our people, especially if you have land that's been in the family for generations. Now, so anyways, as far as Rick Wiles is concerned, again, I would highly encourage you, if you would like to have a dialogue, a conversation on this, I'm available. I can come on your show. You can come here. I will let you talk. I will let you say whatever it is that's on your heart. And that's it. And this is not for me to generate more likes. I'm not trying to trick you so I can get my channel. I can get more followers and stuff like that. I can give 2 craps about that at this point. Trust me. I can give 2 craps about that. So it don't matter, big or small, short or tall, it don't matter. I'm just saying, if you would like to come here, if it'll be easy for you to come here, fine. If you would like for me to come on your platform, I will come on your platform. But what you are saying is out of pure, unadulterated, racist ignorance. It is. And because you are demonstrating here that either you are purposely or ignoring history, or you just are just altogether just deleting it out of whatever it is that you were talking about there. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity, not to bash you, but to inform you and to give you a little history, starting with your own state, on how land was systematically taken from black folks. So, if anything, if there was a law that was passed that was giving land back to black people, I would expect that people like you, who's the founder of True News, you would be happy about that, to see justice coming. But apparently that doesn't seem like that's the case for you. At the end of the day, your Christianity is showing its true colors, and that color is white. It is. It's plain and simple. And so anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. And like I said, again, there are many, many examples that we can point to throughout history where land was in fact taken. You think, You know, all this lot of land out here, you know, you think it's just white people that just owned all of this? No, they took it. They stole this stuff. That is not right at all, period. It's not right. Now, are we going to leave it? Are we going to leave it at that? No, we're not. Hell no, we ain't going to leave it at that. Let me say it that way for you. Why am I saying that? Because there are many opportunities for people like you and like me where we can go and buy land. We're not going to leave it off at there. You see what I'm saying? See, I ain't going to leave it off at there and talk about, you. That's right. We're old land. The government got to do something for us. I'm saying in this matrix system, they ain't doing jack. Okay. They ain't doing anything. So what you have to do is that you got to invest, put in the work, and find out ways that you can get land. You know what I'm saying? You may have to ultimately come out of your own pocket for it, but you can get land. And there are many people out here, many black folks that are doing just that. Don't just focus on the couple of stories that float out here where you got landowners out here. You remember the story about the two black folks that own land in Colorado, and they were talking about how, you know, these white people, they hate them, and, you know, and they trying to take that land from them and all this stuff, and people were just getting all worked up and all this stuff. And I said, no, let's look at this story. And once we started slowing down and looking at all the facts and looking at everything, I was like, no, there's a lot more to that story. That story needs to get shelved somewhere, because there's a lot of mess in that story that ain't being told. And I ain't talking about from white people either. It was coming from that couple too. But we covered all that, and we caught a lot of heat for that, because people are like, well, how you going to say this? You standing for white people? I'm like, no, I'm standing for truth. That's what I'm standing for. And I am about to invest all of my time and energy in a partial story. I'm not doing that. We want to hear both sides of it. Yes, we do know the history of this country, and we know the legacy of this country. But I also know for a fact, I used to live in that, not that far from where this couple lived. And yes, there are white people out there that don't like you and hate you and all that. But just like in this story that I just read to you about Rosewood, there are people out there that don't look like you, but yet, you know what? They're kind of like, hey, listen, right is right and wrong is wrong. What can I do to help you? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep that a full buck. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we talked about when we talked to people in Colorado. But I'm telling you right now, there is a ton of land out here, ton of land that if you're interested in, and you do your own research, that's the key. Do research with people who have experience in it. All right. Don't look at me. Okay. In other words, don't expect me to be Saba Tree Real Estate. I ain't doing that. Y'all ain't gonna be making no video on me talking about how there ain't gonna be no pocket watcher video on me about Saba Tree Real Estate. Ain't gonna be no video on me on that. No. He ain't give me my land back and all that, and it'd be like some big miss. No sir. No ma'am, no sir. I ain't getting involved in none of that. What I'm telling you is that there are many opportunities out here for you to get land. And a lot of times you can finance with the landowner. You know, you can buy land for little as $500, $1,000. Monthly payments are just, very low. But again, you got to do your research, because again, there's, you do have people out here that are, schemers and plotters too. And they come in all shapes and sizes too. So you got to be careful of that. There's another couple. There's I can't think of the woman's name right now, but she'd be wearing them blue contacts or whatever. It's a black couple. And she actually just bought some land here in Arizona. Beautiful land, beautiful. I think it's about 10 to 12 acres. And they built a, what do you call it? A barn, I'm going to say a barnopia. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. It's a barn, but they converted it into a house. I can't think of the name of it, but beautiful. Now, and the thing I liked about them is she showed you the whole process. It wasn't an overnight thing. It took a long time for them to get there, but they got it. First thing first, they had to get the land. And after they got the land, and they had just enough money to pour out the concrete, they did that. And they just did it little by little. I'm trying to tell you, there are black folks out here that are doing this. They've been doing this and buying land. There's another couple in I want to say Montana or something like that. They were on TikTok. Man, they bought a beautiful piece of land. I mean, got hills, got lakes, and all. I mean, they doing it right. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people. And you ain't got to be out here in the West. You can buy land down south somewhere. You know, I don't say Northeast. It's getting kind of tired up in the Northeast, but you can do it. You know what I'm saying? And but there's many opportunities for our people to do it. That's the moral of this. That's why you notice we talk about all that stuff, but see, unlike a lot of platforms, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it back to a solution. We always do it. And so what I'm telling you people, to stop waiting for the government to do stuff for you. Now, barn dominium. Thank you, Darlene. It slipped my mind. I was trying to think of it. Yeah, barn dominium. Man, Rebecca and Darlene, I've been looking at them videos of barn dominiums. I'm like, one day they got some around here. And you know, my wife and I, we be slowing that car down like, dang, look at that. Man, nice. They're nice. Barn dominiums. Very nice. And we don't get me off on that. But anyway, there are many opportunities out here, but you have to make sure that you are doing the right research with the right people. That's very key. Don't be listening just to anybody. People out here be talking about, yeah, you know, I'm going to hook you up. Well, we're going to get all of our people together. We're going to build Rosewood all over again. I'm like, see, Rosewood, the people of Rosewood had a different mindset. You know what I mean? In other words, they could do that. I can't imagine trying to pull something off like that now. I'm talking about like having a town that's built for longevity. I can't imagine trying to do. You imagine? No, sir. I'm sorry. I love my people, but we build a town. It'll be called Dwayne, the town of Dwayne and Nicole, and that's it. Population of us and our children. That's it. And my mother. That's it. And any pets we bring. That's it. Ain't gonna be nobody else. I'll see y'all in the next town. But I'll see y'all next town. But I know. No. You be in the next town. We can share, you know, maybe we share water or something like that. No. I'll wave at you from my horse. I'll wave. You see me on my horse. They say, oh, that's Dwayne way over there. That's right. Well, we know we need to pull our, we'll pull our resources together. We can do some of our resources. But no. No, ma'am. No, sir. Can't do it. Won't do it. I'm just trying to tell you. It always sounds good on paper, don't it? That's right. She said a no stop zone. I know that's right. I have a no stop zone. That's right. Maybe we can build a central zone or something like that where, you know, that part of that central zone ain't owned by either one of us. We can meet up there. But when it's time for me to go back to my village, I'm in my village. That's it. Greg said no traffic light because there ain't no stop sign because there ain't no stopping here. No, ma'am. No, sir. I'll visit the town of the Perrys. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Love them dearly, but I'll see y'all when I see y'all. You know, Team Truth, I'll see you when I see you. You know, Martis and Hamilton and the Banks, I'll see you when I see you. You know I love you, but you know I gotta have my town. I'm sorry. I want to keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? And see, people today, they don't understand that. They think, oh, well, you just anti-black. You don't want to. No, I want to work with my people, but I also know my people too. I know oh yeah, I will show you what a sundown talent. Get out. Get out. But anyway, I don't want to keep y'all. I know I got to get back to doing what I need to be doing for the rest of this evening. Let me grab something to eat too. But other than that, that's it. So yeah, so did this video here. Maybe you'll hear it. Maybe he'll listen to it. Maybe he won't. I don't know. My bets are he probably won't. Neither will his people. That's why I titled it the way it is. Because maybe, just maybe, you know, he will take this seriously and maybe he will make a course correction on it. but the ignorance on this topic, I'm sorry, it's too much, and you need to stop. You really need to stop, because you need to know, starting from you, because out of all states, I'm like, how are you going to say that? And you in Florida? Florida got full of, there are many examples in Florida of black land that was stolen from black folks. Perry Acres shall remain private. I know that's right. And like I said, I'll see you when I see you. I'm trying to tell you. Someone asked if we're having a movie night soon. We'll see. I would love to do that. And, reason why I stopped that, I said, right now I'm trying to get my people out of thinking they're in a movie. I'm serious, because some people, it's like, they won't listen to 2 minutes of this video, but they'll watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, we got to get out of this. So there you go. So that's it, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you have, and I'm sorry if I took too much of your time this evening. Thank you so much, you guys. Listen, you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Make it a great one. Okay. I went out walking today. You know how many miles I walked today? Almost 5 miles. Almost 5 miles today. I do that every now and then. Almost 5 miles a day. The only thing I didn't like was that it was on sidewalk, and I could feel it in my legs when I'm walking on sidewalk for that long. So I try to mix it. The thing I like about out here is that it's not just all sidewalk. The way I went today was all sidewalk, mostly sidewalk, but typically I'm walking on a dirt road and then sidewalk. And then if I go out to the regional park, it's all dirt. But there's something about, I don't know, maybe y'all know, but I can tell the difference. I know for me, when I'm walking on the dirt road versus sidewalk, if I'm walking on sidewalk too long, I can start feeling it in my legs. Man, I can feel it. But dirt road is a little bit easier, I think, on my legs. So I do it on there. But yeah, 5 miles a day. So I was feeling it earlier, but I think I'm good now. But yeah, I'm trying to get these walks in. But that felt so good. It was so nice. The weather was beautiful. And to see them mountains out there, oh, it was so nice. Yeah, you'll be seeing Nicole soon. You'll see Nicole soon. Like I said, this is our busy time of the year. So I'm telling you, that woman she doing it, man. I was telling her last night, I said, you doing it. You doing it, sis. So, and we love her very much. And we love y'all too, very much. Love you enough to tell you the truth. And listen, you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. And that's it. So yeah. I'll put the link to this article that I mentioned with the podcast on it. I'll put that in the description too, because I really want people to hear that too. It's a very, very moving story, but it gives you an idea of what these people are, what our people have been dealing with. But there are solutions out there. Okay. Share your stories too, by the way. If you own land out there, whatever, put it in the comment section, just kind of summarize it a little bit. Give our people some hope that, yes, you can do this too. You ain't got to wait for the government to do anything. There are things you can do on your own. Okay. All right, family. Love you very much. And like I said, big shout out, especially to some of these channels out here of families, black families who are putting these stories out here about what they're doing as a solution. So big shout out to them. And there's plenty of them out there. If you know of channels out there, there's a couple I'm thinking of right now. The names ain't coming to me right now, but there's a couple I'm thinking of right now that are putting, that are taking steps and either buying land or, trying to get off grid or whatever. Put that in the comment section so our people can look at that and see, okay, well, there is some hope. There are some things I can do right now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, love you guys very much. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.